ADEC's Smart Start program offers first-time practice owners their deepest discounts on equipment and furniture for 2 years, plus other savings and complimentary services. Ask your ADEC rep for details and start smart with ADEC. Join Doctors Savanah Craig and Ronnetta Sartor as we navigate life beyond graduation. Real conversations about forging our own paths in our early years in our careers. There's a reason it's called practicing dentistry. Welcome back to another episode of Beyond Graduation. I am Savanah Craig, and with me as always,
I'm Ronnetta Sartor.
So this week's episode, I feel like it's potentially a taboo kind of topic, talking finances. But we reached out to the Ignite team and asked them for some topics they would like to have us discuss. So today we're going to talk about money and how do you balance work and play with all the fun debt we're in with student loans and houses and practices, and I don't know, I got a car payment, but we're putting it all out there. Ronnetta, I guess let's start with what's your relationship to your student loan debt? That's a super easy question to just come out with. And how has that changed? Because I bet it's changed.
Oh boy, you said what's my relationship?
Yeah.
It's like the ex that you don't want. It's like
Okay, we're going there.
Yeah, it's like the
Lurking.
ex that you want to forget about,
Mm-hmm.
but they're always looming in the background, you know? It's like you want to forget it, but you know you can't.
And a different person made that decision. You're not the same
I don't know
person.
who I was when I decided to take those loans out. I'm completely different than who I was. Completely. I don't know who she was.
My frontal lobe was not fully formed.
It wasn't. You know, I might need to go get checked out if that means they'll be forgiven.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's gonna work out that way.
We're stuck with them.
Yeah, we're stuck with them. So maybe not in that way with the ex, but you know, I just thought that was a little bit funny.
No, that's very funny
to joke about it. But yeah, how about you? What's your relationship with yours?
Yeah, I mean, they're looming. I feel like it ebbs and flows between like, what am I going to do? They're just there, the money goes out every month. And then also like the idea of like good debt versus bad debt. But then there's also like the way I was raised was like debt is bad. And like, I should have paid off all of those student loans before I like bought a house and before you buy a practice and like all of those things. And then you like find out that doesn't make any sense. So like having to reconfigure your brain of like, it's just going to be this monthly payment as long as it's going to be. And I mean, I wish they would go away, but haven't figured out how to do that yet.
No. If any of our listeners know, but let us know.
Yeah. If you figured out how to
secret, if you got a magic pill, just let us know how to get rid of them.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I completely like agree with you. Like, you know, it's so funny because we just were joking about it before we got on, but we talked about our net worth and how in order for me to kind of climb out of debt, I almost had to like not almost had to. I had to go more in debt.
You truly had to go.
By like getting a practice in the real estate and all that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And like now, even though it doesn't feel great, you know, I can look at my net worth and see, okay, I'm starting to see positive when for so many years it was negative. And so just seeing how like that can change, and you know, I've kind of crossed over into that point, and then you kind of laugh since you're on the path to owning a practice. What's been your feelings about it?
Yeah. I think at this point I'm just like, just more debt, just bring it on, whatever. But I think at one point, like Adam and I laugh because when I was in dental school, we were like, okay, we're going to graduate, we're going to go to residency, I'll graduate, and then we will live on your salary and we will just put all of mine towards my debt and we'll just live in this 1-bedroom apartment and like, we'll just suffer. And then you do the math and you're like, okay, we're going to have to suffer for a long time.
And you've already eaten ramen for how many years now,
Yes,
right?
yes. Someone is going to come on here, some, boomer financial
Oh, yeah.
advisor, and be
They're going
like,
to tear us apart.
yes.
Yeah.
Dentistry is a lovely career. We make good money. We also work our booties off to make that money. And like, we actually make that money with our hands, right? Like, my body makes that money. So I'm trying to, you and I have talked about this, like, get over that guilt of like, my income is higher than like all of my family growing up combined. You know what I mean? And like, that's what they wanted for us, right? You always want better for your kids, but like processing that and then also being like, I make good money. I am also 6 figures in student loan debt, housing debt, and
all the things.
all the things. And you just, the bills come every month and it's fine.
So how do you navigate
Supposedly fine.
work, play, and the debt?
Yeah, supposedly okay. So things are supposedly fine. We've had some talks with like different financial advisors and things who have like let us know that we are on the right path and like setting like budgets. One of my favorite like finance people is Ramit Sethi. Are you familiar?
No, but I will definitely look.
Okay. So Ramit's whole philosophy is,
Oh, yes, I do know. Yes,
I will teach you to be rich, like living your rich life.
I love that. I've read some books actually.
Okay. You should listen to his podcast. Shout out to Ramit. Ramit, sponsor us or something. I think we would be a very interesting guest on his podcast. So anyway, we're going to tag him in this episode. But
I'm sure he's going to be like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, listen, I'm sure he has much better things to do than answer my Instagram DMs. But anyway, Ramit's philosophy is like, you should not live a smaller life than you have to. And like, there's no valor in like suffering to suffer. And so his podcast, he'll bring on these like multi-millionaire couples who fight every day about like the cost of like bananas. And so he's like, your money psychology like doesn't just change one day when you've become wealthy. And so I think you've got to sort of like microdose living your life while also like living within your means too. So I think that's what we've tried to do is just like, we know how much we have to pay in these bills every month and then how much we need to like save for retirement and savings. And then Ramit's big thing is like guilt-free spending, and like each of you should have your own guilt-free spending and then joint guilt-free spending, and all of the rest of your money is accounted for. So do what you want with that and don't feel bad about it. And so I think we've just navigated, like, Adam and I both come from like save everything you can backgrounds and learning like you can't take it with you. I think the other philosophy I've been really into is Die with Zero. That's another really good book. Yeah. So I think you got to know, you can't just be totally blind to how much your bills are. But like get it all on auto pay. Know at a certain point.
Savings too.
Right. And then from there, like you can work and play and save up for big things. And, Amazon too many cat toys to your.
I think while you were talking, the image in my brain was, I know we've all seen the couple in Paris on like older and sleeping.
Yes.
And so that image is like burned into my brain because, like you said, we all have like been conditioned to, okay, save, work hard right now, delay gratification, delay it until you're older and retired. And the truth of the matter is, how do we know that when we get to retirement age, or for that matter 10 years from now, we'll be in good enough health to have these experiences? So I think it's finding the balance. But one of the things that you said that I thought was amazing is making sure that early on, before you start to get that lifestyle creep, you have the right people in your corner in terms of advisors from a financial perspective that can say, okay, here are your goals and this is where you want to go, but this is how you get there. So
absolutely,
this is what you need to save and this is what you need to be doing.
The other thing we were just talking about at work was like And Ramit,
Yeah.
I'm a big Ramit fan. But they talk about like his thing is like spend extravagantly on the things you love and cut costs mercilessly on the things you don't. And we were talking at work at like, we'll splurge on whatever. We travel a lot, but like we don't fly first class or like whatever, you know what I mean? Like you
Right.
got to find those balance of, or like, I'm going to go to Costco and buy my paper towels in bulk, but like, we'll go out for
Right.
a nice
Or,
cocktail. And you know what I
mhm.
mean? You just find those things.
Right. Or I'm not going to eat out all the time. I'll cook at home and save that money. And I'm not going to go on a whole lot of vacations. But when I do go on vacation, I'm going to have the experience that I want on vacation and not feel
Exactly.
guilty about it. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I think it's all about finding that balance. How, I don't know, and this might be very personal, but like, I'm sure you have friends that are like not in dentistry and have different career paths and things. And like for me, a lot of my friends started working 4 years out of college. And so like we've delayed things, but then you get this lifestyle creep all of a sudden. So like, how have you navigated that with yourself and like with the people around you of, we do make good money as dentists, even though it took us a long time to get here and we do have the debt to go with it. So yeah, have you had to navigate those things, or how do you navigate those things?
I think that's a really good question. I think in some regards, it's kind of having that vulnerable conversation with some people.
Yeah.
That's like, yeah, you kind of see the outside, but have no clue what's happening, like internally or
Yeah.
just in general. Like, and we kind of talked about this earlier, but yes, we are dentists. It's a great profession. We are paid well, but with comes more responsibilities. Kind of like the old adage, more money, more
Yeah.
problems. Like
Yeah.
you have to pay for disability insurance and this insurance and that insurance and so it's like, yes, it's glamorous, but the same way that you have cost of living in your household, I do too, but I might have more going out than what you have because
Yeah.
of the title of doctor and all of the things I need to have to protect myself,
Absolutely. Yeah, it can be interesting. I think the other thing we were talking about earlier was like this idea of enough, and like you and I are both very goal oriented people, and we like a challenge and we like to set a goal, and setting like a production goal and all of these things. But also you were talking about having these goals for your office, but like what that might what that sacrifice might look like in other areas of your life. And like my boss and I were talking the other day because he was like, well, so I work 4 days a week, and he was joking and he was like, if you work 5 days a week, then you can retire 20% faster. And I'm like, only if my production on those days is the same as the other days, where most dentists I've talked to are like, when they cut days, their production actually increases because you're just getting rid of like fluff stuff. But so, how has this conversation of like having these financial goals, and I think sometimes it's not even a financial goal necessarily, as like just like my practice is now at this level,
and I want to get to the next.
Yeah, like is it obviously it's a money thing too, but what was that conversation, or what does that look like for you with trying to navigate that balance? It's always balance.
I think a lot of it goes back to my why.
Yeah.
In every aspect of my life. Like, what's my why as it pertains to the business and my patients and my team?
Yeah.
What's my why at home for my family and I? And the things that I'm not willing to bend on in terms of values. And so, kind of to your point, yes, the business could probably get to a certain level if I bend my values and things that I believe in certain areas. But it's a hard no for me to do those things. So if it means it takes me a little bit longer to get to that goal, but I'm able to do it on my terms, in the terms that I'm going to be able to look back and be proud
Yeah.
of how I
Wow.
got there.
Yeah.
For me, that's what kind of keeps me grounded. And kind of the same thing with like at home, like you said, oh yeah, I probably could get to that goal for sure if I work 5 to 6 days a week, but I just know that on a personal level, that won't make me happy. And
Mm-hmm.
it's not all about being happy because we always have to do some things that we don't want to do,
Yeah.
but in life, at some point, having peace and happiness can be the goal.
That's huge.
Yeah, for some people, that I think that's where I'm at right now. Where
Yeah.
like, yes, it is okay to have all of these goals, but if at the end of the day I don't have peace and I'm not happy, then is it really worth it?
Yeah. And you have to know that for yourself of like what are your non-negotiables, what is most important, and it might change.
What's your take on it?
No, I think that was spot on of like I keep thinking David did a podcast recently where he was talking about like dentists these days are now like working to live instead of live to work. And yeah, the reason I go to work, I mean, I love what I do and I love having I'm blessed to have the skills that I have and to be able to help people. But I also go to make money to fund the life I want to live too.
It's just true. This is
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. So I think you gotta, just like you said, you gotta know what's worth it and not worth it. And yeah, what at the end of the day or at the end of the next 10 years is a little bit more money sitting in a bank account worth it to like see your family struggle or to not have that peace at the end of the day. I don't.
Or to not have your health. Because if you're just working all the time and you don't
Mm,
have time for yourself, for self care, something's got to
huge.
give. And a lot of times it's going to be something with you, whether it's mental or physical.
Poof. That hit really heavy. What a huge, I think we
Yeah, we're
forget health
machines. We're
piece.
not robots. We can't just hit the off button and then
Yeah. But I think, isn't that the irony of like doctors make the worst patients, where the first thing we talked about was our own health? Yeah. The whole thing of like put on your own oxygen mask first. Like if I am unwell, my family is unwell, I can't take care of anybody. Wow. Yeah. Prioritize your health. Why is that always the last thing we think about?
maybe because we're young and it's like, oh yeah, we're healthy. So out of sight, out of mind, right?
Yeah. But
Kind of like student loans, right?
truly. But no, and I mean, if you're not taking care of yourself now, you won't have that health in the future.
So true.
Man, this one was full of some bombs. I'm interested to see what people have to. I think financial planners are gonna come here, older dentists who are like, you should just grind 7 days a week and pay off your loans. Yeah, come at us in the comments. I'm interested to be nice though. We're patients.
But on the opposite end of that spectrum, I'm very curious to hear from any of our listeners that feel what we're saying on a deeper level and just talk about what your journey has been like. So let us know. We want to hear the good, the bad, the ugly.
Yes. Also, Ramit, invite us to your podcast. Thanks.
Yes, we'll be there. We'll make it work.
We'll see you guys next time.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Beyond Graduation. If you enjoyed this week's episode, be sure to share it with a friend. Connect with us on social media at Savanah Craig DDS and at Dr_Sartor. And remember, you are not alone on this journey.
ADEC certified pre-owned equipment is a sustainable, affordable choice that makes genuine ADEC equipment available to every doctor. Each package is sold on a first-come, first-served basis. So, if you see one you like, contact your dealer. For more information, go to www.adec.com/find a dealer. Thank you for listening to Beyond Graduation, brought to you by Ignite DDS and Future Dentists. This episode was sponsored by Ignite DDS Coaching. We build self-determined futures. For more information, please reach out to the Ignite DDS team.